Four French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. They're three wide again. Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across. They're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
But before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy. You know, these are 5-ton machines, 1,200 horsepower brake.
Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been moved and it's ready to go out.
Now, I love it. 10.5 minutes gone. Senna Anderson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening indeed. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome to another 2 rounds of the CDM Speedway Superleague. And we're back to USA International Speedway, where this all started off just 3 weeks ago. My name is Chaz Draycott, and I'm solo broadcasting this wonderful little championship that I've put together. And we've got a fantastic group of guys out there once again this evening taking to the circuit. It's been an exciting campaign so far. There's been a lot going on before this point, and there's been a few changes, or if I can say it right, a few changes to the tide in the first half of the season, and this is how the championship looks at this current moment. Aaron Smith, top of the pile on 40 points, with Jake Cranstone 4 points behind, but would you look at that, 1 point behind him, Brian Crowles, 1 point behind him, Andy Oakley. We don't have Pete Harrod with us here this evening, unfortunately. He's one of the absentees of these next 2 rounds of the championship. John Bailiff is 6th in the championship, and him and his teammate Jake Cranstone for Rapid Rocking Rebel Rascals Racing Round and Round World Racing Team have a very clear lead in the team's championship. The main battle there is between 2nd and 3rd Spontex, CDM Esports and Virtual Reality Autosports. Every driver that has taken part so far in this campaign has scored at least 1 point, and it's good to have everybody back out together again this evening for more action. Here is Aaron Smith just making his way out onto the circuit. Now, it's a much bigger oval, this one, than the other ovals that we've been to before, so you can expect to see a much more level playing field here. The long straights do tend to cause a little bit of a sort of concertina effect with a tiny bit of slipstream, but here you are absolutely flat out, and because the corners aren't as tight, it's actually a much easier circuit to get a grip to, because of course these cars, they have a tiny little wheelbase, so they like to over-rotate as soon as you get anywhere near 45 degrees and get a little bit too happy on the throttle. But Aaron Smith is out there. Brian Crowles was the early championship leader, but he finds himself right now sat in 3rd place in the championship. He's got 4 heat wins to his name, 2 final wins as well, the features at the end of the night. Jake Cranstone, who is currently 2nd in this session, if we can find him, there he is. He's just sat in the pits at the moment. The car, oh no, it has actually had its livery applied, but Jake at the moment has not basically got a feature race win to his name. He's won 7 heats though, so too has Andy Oakley. Andy also without any feature race wins. John Bailiff got one last time out for the Rapid Rocking Rebel Rascals Racing Round World Racing Team, World whatever the hell they're called. But John had an issue joining one of the races last week at Limaland, and unfortunately he was dropped from the session, but he got back in, he won his heat, and then he went on to win the next race after that as well. So he had a decent night all in all last time round, but it didn't start off in the best way. We were just looking at Toby Ward a moment ago in the boosted motorsports machine. Toby's got his livery sorted for this week, and he's back out on track. He's here in place of Pete Harrod, and unfortunately Michael Jones is not here with us this evening. He has been replaced by Carl Jacquelet, who, well, we're not going to miss Carl this week, because look at his livery. He's brought this neon green and yellow machine out to play with the Sim Stickers branding on the back of it. Sim Stickers sponsored one of my championships as well not too long ago, so it's good to see their logo back on the car. Riley Sheringham is back in the virtual reality Autosports machine. A good chance for him and his teammate Martin Kenyon tonight to overtake the Spontex CDM Esports cars in the team's championship. Just 3.5 minutes left to go in this practice session, and this is just the drivers getting warmed up basically for the early stages of the night, getting those laps in. If we have a look at the gaps actually between them all, it's Aaron Smith that's fastest by just 48 thousandths of a second over the likes of Jake Cranstone, and Andy Oakley is 1,000th of a second behind him. It's a bit of a longer lap here, so we are running races that are 1 lap less than they were last time round. At some of the longer circuits, sorry, the shorter circuits, we have 5 lap heat races and consolation races with a 6 lap feature. Here we've gone back to 4 laps and a 5 lap feature. We've got Alex Johns back with us tonight as well. He's out there on the circuit in the Bespoke Shelters livery, car number 84. Currently just trying to get to grips with the car, finding the ultimate angle as he ends up kissing the wall there. Niall Crowther in the Spontex CDM Esports car goes past him. Ed May in the YouTube chat, and LOC as well. Hello, LOC. Good to see you. What troubles am I planning to cause today? None at all, my friend. I'm going to be a good boy. Ed May saying that he hopes everyone has the best of luck. I'm sure a lot of the drivers will be hoping for that tonight as well. Let's go on board with Niall Crowther, see what he makes of this here. You can see doing quite a lot of left turning here to really pitch the car in. Sometimes you only have to give it a slight flick to the left and just guide it round, and most of the time you've got the steering wheel straight. But here you do need to really sort of guide it in gradually and wait for the car to break away. There's not too much of a shiny line at the moment, but you can clearly see that a lot of that dirt has been kicked up high from that sort of low line that people are using. There's a very clear line that they've all dug into, and now Niall is up there just digging the right rear wheel into the dirt a little bit more. See if we can catch Martin Kenyon out on track. Basically what it does here is, because it'd be a bit messy having 12 cars on track at once, it splits it into a couple of sessions, all of which have up to 4 cars in each. So everybody's got their own little bit of the circuit to practice on and keep themselves sane, or at least try to. Here's Martin Kenyon, currently 6th fastest. He's done 31 laps in this practice session so far. The driver with the most laps is Toby Ward, actually. He's done 36 laps of practice so far. So between them all, the circuit is really progressing and getting worn down. Don't forget that we have 2 race meetings in one night here in the CDM Speedway Superleague. Really prolongs the length of the evening, means that we get a lot more racing time for our drivers as well, because they are only 4 lap sprints. But having the sort of secondary race meeting means that they've got a lot more time to enjoy themselves out there on the track. So this will be round 7 of the championship, this run through of the heats and then the consolation. Consolations, and then the feature race. And then the one after that will be round 8 of the championship. This is the start of the second half of the season as such. And now we've got halfway. I'm sure everybody's very excited to get the next part of it underway. So just 10 seconds left on the timing now. And then the drivers will head out for what's going to be a lone qualifying session. So they all go out just on their own. Like you've seen here, they're all in sort of separate sessions. They'll be doing the same during the qualifying session as well, as Martin Kenyon's car any second now will disappear. There it goes. No longer sounds like a mosquito buzzing away in your ear. Who's going to be the first driver out there to jump on? And it was Carl Jacquelet, I can tell you. That was the first car to pop up in the pits. So he gets the airtime for heading out on track. We'll ride on board with Carl. See what he can do in the Photo Media UK car number 42. Not a long qualifying session at all. Just a few minutes long. And they get 3 laps. Carl opting for a high line early on. He's not shabby in these dirt machines, is Carl. So let's see what the times are like when they come through. Carl getting quite a lot of angle on it there, and you've got to be careful of that grass on the inside. He was using a hell of a lot of lock, scrubs off a bunch of speed out of turns 1 and 2. Really throws it into 3 and 4 as well. Oh, he's overdone it, I'd say there. He's going to have to get away from the wall, has to change down a gear as well. It's a little scrappy from Carl Jacquelet. And Aaron Smith is the one that goes fastest from Oakley. Then Ward next up, then Alex Johns, and then Carl Jacquelet in 5th. 0.6 of a second off at the minute. John Bailiff puts a time on the board. Niall Crowther goes ahead of him. Just 4 tenths off the top spot. We watch here for Martin Kenyon coming around the final corner. But look, because of how smooth and long these corners are, it's very easy to aim it in towards that wall. Aaron Smith goes even quicker. Kenyon goes 3rd fastest. Car 3, P3. Toby Ward beats him in car number 4. Alex Johns then moves up to 5th place. Bailiff now goes up into 4th position. Sheringham is 9th with Price in 10th, but it's mighty close. Price now moves up to 9th position. What about Brian Crowles and Jake Cranstow? Neither of them two have put a time in yet. Sheringham improves to 7th. Here's Brian Crowles across the line for Track Velocity Racing, and he goes 2nd quickest. He just slots in front there of Andy Oakley. Martin Kenyon and Toby Ward both improving on their own laps, and Jake Cranstone's only just started his fast lap. He likes doing this, does Jake? He leaves it for a good minute or so and then pops up afterwards. Niall Crowther improves, goes 7th ahead of Alex Johns. Simon Price goes 9th fastest. Jack Alette stays down there in 11th of the 12 drivers that we've got. Oh, Cranstone's really tucked it in on the inside line here, so he's going to have a much better lap after this. Crowles didn't improve on his 2nd lap. He's got 1 more left to go. Cranstone's first time puts him 8th fastest. We've got White Van Gaming and Mike Murphy in the chat. Good to see you, boys. Hope you're both doing well and looking forward to a fun night of turning left on some mud. Look at this, Jake Cranstone really holding that inside line, keeping it nice and tidy. Crowles improves but doesn't go fastest. It's Aaron Smith that's quickest. Jake Cranstone's done a purple sector 1 and he does go quickest right at the end of the session. He's still got 1 lap in it actually as Jake Cranstone, but he's done the job. Nobody else out there at the moment. That'll put him in the first heat and on pole position. That'll put him with the likes of Toby Ward and then Alex Johns. Sorry, it'd be Andy Oakley and then John Bailiff that he'd be with as well. But Jake Cranstone, fantastic job there. He's going to be on your screens in just a second then with Oakley, Bailiff and Price joining in. But what a great, great time that was by Jake Cranstone. Just 22 thousandths of a second to beat Aaron Smith to the pole position. Jake's going to just cruise the car back in, but he'll be over the moon with that. And he only just doesn't hit the wall there. That's my face on the front of that car as well, by the way. They've certainly taken to the fun aspect of this championship of those guys and embraced that by having a fun livery with lots of strange little jokes all over it, including the biggest joke on the car, my face. So we wait for a sec for Jake to park the car. Although I think he's actually doing some donuts now. He is. And now he's being a good boy. So he disappears. I believe qualifying will end in about 30 seconds' time. But we have Jake Cranstone, Aaron Smith and Brian Crowles in separate heats here, which will be interesting. Oakley will be in the first heat. Toby Ward in the second heat. Martin Kenyon in the third. Then you'll have John Bailiff and Niall Crowther and Alex Johns in heats 1, 2 and 3. Simon Price, Riley Sheringham and Carl Jackalette complete the 12 cars that we have back out there tonight. A big thanks as well to Carl Jackalette and Toby Ward especially for being such solid reserve drivers that are always available. You know, it's not easy knowing that they could go into a race meeting or a race meeting could get underway and they not be needed for that night. But I'm very grateful for the fact that they are on standby for us. So then everybody, the first heat of the night in round 7 of the CDM Speedway Superleague. This is Simon Price on the back row, Jake Cranstone on the inside. He's got his teammate John Bailiff with him and the always fast Andy Oakley in the white and red car number 53. Jake and John having a bit of a laugh there, bumping into each other slightly. They light it up and off they go. Behind the pace truck. We'll go on board with Jake just so you get an idea of how big that pace truck feels from back here. It's a mighty large bit of kit. Jake actually using a bit of the grass on the inside there for some reason. Maybe just as a bit of fun. These guys really do embrace the fun of the championship and I'm oh so grateful for it. We have a good time playing with these cars, flicking some mud up. Feels like a while since we've done it though, and it's not even been a week. So the pace truck should come in. And there it is on its path. And the first heat of the night in round 7 of the CDM Speedway Super League
Green, green, green.
is indeed, I've forgotten to turn my spotter off again, green, green, green. And Jake Cranstone gets a lovely start. Andy Oakley actually matches him for just a moment, but John Bailiff's got to the inside line. Is he going to be able to carry on making that work? Oakley's run a little bit wider on the exit. John has to tuck it in and be careful not to run into him. Oakley running high up in second place, trying to use a wider line. Look, he's been a lot shallower on that angle because the guys down the inside could easily tuck themselves into that wall. John Bailiff has to put a bit more lock on to ensure that he doesn't go up high as well. And it's still very, very close. Cranstone's had a brilliant first lap though, and he's kept it exactly where he needs to as Oakley cuts down in front of Bailiff. I don't think there was too much untoward in that, but Bailiff had to back out of it and be very careful. Simon Price is only half a second behind these guys, but due to the nature of the camera, just out of shot at this moment. There he is, just poking his nose in, but what a start from Jake Cranstone. It's been so impressive all season as Jake. He's had a little bit of bad luck here and there. Oh, he's gone in early there. There's a huge bump on the inside of turn 1 that you've got to be mighty careful of. Oakley is next up with John Bailiff just behind. And they're the ones that are going to be getting the points. There's no sort of progression into the feature from these first sets of heats. It's the consolations where you have to think about it. This is just for points now. And it'd be 3 points going the way of Jake Cranstone if it finishes like this. And then you'd have 2 points going to Andy Oakley and 1 point going to John Bailiff, who did his fastest lap of the race in that previous lap. But it's looking like it's going to stay stationary at this moment. And Jake Cranstone comes around the final corner and takes another heat victory. Very well done to him. Andy Oakley finishes in second. John Bailiff in third. And commiserations Simon Price. He doesn't quite get the point on this occasion. And no messing about, straight into the second heat. We have Aaron Smith, current championship leader, on the inside, with Toby Ward on his outside line. Niall Crowther. And then Riley Sheringham. Just waiting for Riley to take to the grid though. Riley not there yet. On the outside of that second row. Just now, popping in as we get ready to shift. That's Niall Crowther on the inside line. All forms of different colours. Now the pace truck is AI driven, LOC. So Aaron Smith looking for another heat race win. He's won 7 heats so far this season and 3 features at the end of each night. So big points are definitely on his radar. He's got a 4-point lead in the championship coming into this meeting. So you've got to think that somewhere he's going to be able to take his foot off the gas slightly, but we've all seen how quickly it can change over the course of one evening. And here we go then. Second heat of the evening in round 7 of the championship.
Green flag, green flag.
Gets underway. And Aaron Smith tucks up to the right-hand side. Nice and tidy. Niall Crowther goes for the low line down the inside of Toby Ward. Car tries to straighten up a little bit. There's a tiny bit of contact and Crowther is around. And Riley Sheringham in the wall again. I watched a recap of Michael Jones's point of view from last time, and there were drivers asking if those virtual reality autosports cars had magnets on them to attract them to the walls, because the guys seem to kiss the wall more than any others. And Riley proving that point straight away. Still in a position for a championship point. Niall's just trying to recover now. But it was just that tiny little wobble as the car straightened up. Niall couldn't quite get the nose to go back where he wanted it. So it's Toby Ward in second place, and he's got a comfortable advantage over Riley Sheringham right now. to be fair, there's been a drama for Riley there. I'm sorry, I was just checking some times on the timing then, because it was doing something really strange. I do apologise. Let's have a quick look at what happened to Riley. Just a little bit too much over rotation. Oh, he's on the shiny part of the circuit, and it just digs in there. To be fair, it's a pretty good save. He's got Niall Crowther right behind him now, though. As they go down the start-finish straight once more, it's Aaron Smith leading the way from Toby Ward. Toby's trying his best to catch back up, and he has started to close that gap. But Aaron Smith is running supreme at the front of the field here. It's looking like Toby Ward's going to take a solid 2 points as well. Is Sheringham going to hold on to third place, though, over Niall Crowther? Looks like it at this moment. Oh, Niall's kissed the barrier. Niall has a spin in the wall. And the Spontex CDM Esports car, unfortunately, having a bit of a rough ride to begin his evening. But don't forget, the second set of heats has reverse grid, so Niall will be on pole for that one. But Aaron Smith starts his night off with a heat race win. And I know another driver that will be desperate to do so is this man, Brian Crowles. He starts on the inside of the front row for heat number 3. He's got Martin Kenyon alongside him. These two had a massive crash at Lania a few weeks ago. Martin nearly ended up, well, basically did end up in the car park. We can once again make the jokes of 42 being half of 84 with Carl Jacquelet and Alex Johns on the second row of this grid. But Martin is looking to recuperate some points here in the championship. He's currently in 7th place on 19 points. He's got a heat race win to his name. But I know that he'll want more than that. He'll want to be in a feature and score some big points from one of those. You get 4 points if you win the feature race at the end of a night as well, so there's a bit more significance on that one. That is the only race that is signified by a higher point score. All of them are 3 points for a heat win or a consolation win. The pace truck will pull in just a moment. And these guys will get ready to get moving. It's going to be Brian Crowles leading from the front.
Green.
And off he goes. And would you look at that? A good start by Martin Kenyon as well. Now you have to be careful about being ahead before the line, but I think Kenyon's done okay there. He's actually going to try and swoop around the outside of Brian, but he looks like he's gone way too high in towards the wall. Has to slow it down, and oh, there's a drama behind. Alex Johns has had a spin. Carl Jacquelet has continued on. I thought there was contact between the two of them because both of them seem to disappear out of shot. Kenyon now trying to get a cutback down to a lower line to chase down Brian Crowles. See what he can do. He's just hidden behind the A-pillar there. Martin carrying some great speed round turns 1 and 2. He's actually got a little bit of a run on Brian here. Not much though. It's so hard to overtake at this circuit compared to some of the others that we've been to. And he's actually looking down the inside now as Martin doesn't quite get alongside, but Brian's gone a little bit later and a little bit higher on the exit. It's great persistence and great pressure from Martin Kenyon to try and take that extra point. He's done the fastest lap of the race. He's having a bit of a wiggle around turns 1 and 2, but I tell you what, it's working for him though. Maybe not actually on that occasion, but you know, he's still maintaining a very similar speed. There's a big shiny part to the circuit there. He tries to get it slowed down. Whoa, has to go for a tighter angle. He just goes in a little bit too hot, trying to get one over on Brian Crowles. Brian holds on to the lead. It's looking like Brian's going to take this one unless we see a mistake from him. But the previous championship leader knows what he's doing on ovals. To be fair, so does Martin. Martin's been very, very good. Just very unlucky so far this season. It was an interesting fight all the same. It looks like Brian Crowles is going to take those points. Martin Kenyon is going to take 2 points, and Carl Jacquelet gets his 2nd point of the season. Well done to the boys. Great job up front. Unfortunately for Alex Johns, just that little spin early on is what cost him. But he'll be on pole position the next time we see those guys on track. Okay then, so we go to what's known as the D main, which is the first heat, but with a reverse grid based on their finishing order. So Simon Price will start on pole, with John Bailiff alongside him. Then Andy Oakley and Jake Cranstone. Once again, they score points here, 3, 2 and 1 for first, second and third. And the top 2 of the drivers in this race go through to the feature here in round 7. Simon Price starting on pole in the Spontex CDM Esports unwashed livery. He scored 3 points at Lima Land last time out. It was his best meeting. He scored 1 point in his consolation race here at USA International near the start of the season. And with those 3 points on the board at the moment, he is in 12th place. Sorry, 4 points on the board. I do apologise. 4 points puts him 12th in the championship, just ahead of Toby Ward. Toby had a good finish earlier, so Simon needs to try and replicate that and keep his head near the front of the pack here. Let's see how he gets on.
Green flag, green flag.
Lights come on and away they go, and well, Simon was a little bit late on that one and Bailiff's actually gone past him, but I'm not sure if Bailiff will get a penalty for that, you know. I suppose the green lights have come on and Jake Cranstone has contact with Simon, who runs wide into him. Jake then has to cut back underneath, but Bailiff's had the ideal start. Andy Oakley avoids incident and Simon Price drops to the back. But Oakley will now chase Bailiff like mad, and look at the send by Jake Cranstone down the inside. He makes that inside line work like a charm. Andy Oakley up high though will get the run on him, but I can argue that Jake will make that low line work again through 3 and 4. You can't quite do it as aggressively through 1 and 2. He tucks it in, and all the time Bailiff is going to be watching his mirrors here as these two fight just behind him. Oakley very close to the wall, but watch that car on the right there. Watch Jake Cranstone here, down on the inside into 3 and 4. He's all of a sudden going to emerge right behind us. And whoa, never mind behind us, he's next to us. Jake Cranstone going for the lead. Oakley's in the wall. Oakley in the wall big time. He's having a big old roll and an accident. He was pushing his limits. And Oakley has crashed in the D-main. That's going to throw him out of going through to the feature. Are we going to get both of the rabid, rocking Rebel Rascals racing round and round World Racing Team drivers in the feature? Well, as long as they don't hit each other, yeah. Jake Cranstone cuts underneath John Bailiff. Bit of team fighting here. It's like the Mercedes at, was it Bahrain? Or, yeah, it was Bahrain, wasn't it? 2014. Side by side they go on to the final lap then. They just need to keep their heads on here and not clatter into each other. It'll give Simon Price some fantastic championship points. But Simon's on for a single point here at the moment. And look at that run by John Bailiff. That's the difference on that wider line. It's hard to see it when they're a bit more split apart, but there is definitely a difference. Jake using the low line. John's going to get the run, but the race win is going to go to Jake Cranstone. That's his second heat race win of the night. Very well done to Jake. John Bailiff next up, and Simon Price gets a championship point for third. You've got to be gutted for Andy Oakley. Simple mistake, just running up too high, and a big old roll puts him out of round 7. Those two will go through to the feature, and of course we'll recap on that in a few minutes' time. So who's next? It's Aaron Smith, of course. Aaron starting 4th on the grid here. Riley Sheringham and Niall Crowther starting on the front row. Riley loves revving the nuts off these things as soon as they jump onto the grid. And it's Toby Ward on the inside of row 2. Like I said before, Toby scoring 2 championship points. He was with us for round 3 of the championship where he scored a heat victory. It's Niall Crowther that will determine these guys getting away from the line. If you will excuse me for just a second, I will very quickly, just while we're here, turn the spotter off so you don't get to hear that. Or you don't have to hear that anyway. It's not like I'm trying to hide it from you, but it just doesn't sound as great, does it? Doesn't always sync up beautifully either. So Niall Crowther in the number 26 car on the inside of the number 17. I love the livery selection that we've got here for this race. Some lovely looking cars. The yellow vision car of Aaron Smith is just as straightforward as it can be, but does the job. Aaron's cars are always just solid yellow. Let's see what Niall can do here then. He gets the chance to determine when they go. Riley is in front of the leader and he has to wait for it. Niall gets going and the C-main is underway. Crowther leads them into turn 1. Sheringham, oh, gets a bump in the rear there from Aaron Smith, and Toby Ward's managed to go down his inside. He's gone a little bit hot and a little bit high there as Riley, and well, that works out for Niall because it's opened quite the gap. What about Toby Ward? Can he go chasing down? He's told me earlier that he's improved on his dirt oval racing quite a lot. His I rating's gone up. Niall's had a bit of a deep angle into turns 3 and 4, and now Aaron Smith is on the charge. Toby Ward wants to come down low and try and cut underneath Niall Crowther. Niall using a higher line up on the right. He's going to try and get the run on the exit of the corner. Toby's got Aaron all over the back of him. Where is Niall in all of this? There he is. He's still holding on to that race lead in the Spontex CDM Esports car. Once again, using the higher line. He's better at holding that shallower angle. Keeping the speed up. He's going to swoop around the outside, but I think Toby Ward has got this. Toby Ward slots in front, takes the heat lead. Don't forget, the top 2 go through into the feature, so you've got to commit to a line and make it work. There's a lot more pressure here as Aaron Smith has a run on the back of Toby Ward, but has to back out of it. That puts Niall Crowther back in front. And oh, dearie me, Riley Sheringham's had a big old crash on the back straight. The car is sliding along on its roof. We've got one more lap, though, and is Aaron Smith going to get through into the feature? That's going to be the question. His final chance to score points tonight might be gone. Jake Cranstone could really close in the championship if Aaron doesn't get this done. He's just got to try and get past Niall Crowther. Niall's really fending them both off well here. I say both of them like Toby Ward isn't in front of him, but still, it's always improvement from these guys, and it's lovely to see it. Here we go then, final couple of corners. Toby Ward looking strong. Niall's had a bit of a wiggle. Aaron Smith has to come back down the inside, has to brake. Toby Ward gets the job done and takes the win. Niall Crowther finds himself in the feature, and he holds off Aaron Smith, who will not go through to the feature in round 7 of the championship. Wow. Absolutely wow. Great job there by Niall, though. I mean, he's not been the most confident with his performances on paper, but he held them off and had a great fight with them. That was awesome. So into the final of the feature race. No, get it right, Chaz. The final of the consolation races, as they're known. This is the B main. So the last 2 drivers to go into the feature from this one. I'll eventually, one day, I promise, I will explain the format correctly one day. Promise. We've got Alex Johns and Carl Jacquelet on the front row. We then have Martin Kenyon and Brian Crowles on row 2. Now, Alex unfortunately got caught out by the start procedure a couple of weeks ago, but we've had a reminder since then that literally you hold the pace as you do once the truck's gone in, and then the green lights, when they come on, they're red on my screen here. As soon as they come on, you get going, and the final B main gets underway, and it's a solid start from Jacquelet. He's actually poked his nose in front. Kenyon dives up there. There's a little bit of contact between the two of them. Kenyon goes into the lead. It looks like Crowles is quite high up. Jacquelet right up there as well. Kenyon sent it down the inside. Crowles now on the inside of Jacquelet. Carl is running a little bit wide, and is Brian going to do them both through 3 and 4? It looks like it, but I think that Kenyon's going to have the run on the exit. He does. Brian just gaining 1 net place there. Now Jacquelet's looking down his inside. Brian really throws it in on a tighter angle, but great send into turns 1 and 2 by Martin Kenyon. Is he going to lose out on the exit, though? You can often throw it in a bit too hard and then be slow on the exit. Crowell's looking good in second place, but it's never completely over until the Fat Lady sings. It just takes 1 moment, as we've seen, to lock up the brakes. Slam on the anchors a bit too hard. Jacquelet's had a bit of a wobble on the exit of 3 and 4. And Alex Johns is reeling him in big time now. He wants that final point of round 7. And Martin Kenyon holding on beautifully. Does the fastest lap of the race as well. Quicker than Brian Crowles. He's got 1 more lap after this one to hold on. And it's certainly looking good for him, I'd say. Here we are on board with the number 3. Brian all over the back of him, though. They're both going to go through to the feature if it works like this. The only difference will be the 1 or 2 championship points. Sorry, the 3 or 2 championship points that you'd get for where you finish. Alex Johns has unfortunately had a spin. And he's dropped down away from the pack, but it's looking really strong for Martin Kenyon. He finished 2nd in his earlier race. What can Brian Crowles do at the final corner? It's not going to be enough. And Kenyon wins over Crowles. They go through to the feature, and Carl Jacquelet scores himself another championship point with 3rd. Well, as soon as I decide that I can get the music down to an acceptable level, we'll have a look at some results, shall we, of those races. But a great set of heats that set us up for our first of 2 feature races tonight. We have, obviously, round 7, which is going to be completed in a minute. And then we'll move on to round 8 after the break. Let's have a look then at these heats. It's only a 3-minute warm-up here, so it's not going to take long at all. So I'm going to go over exactly how this all looked. Jake Cranstone won the first heat of the night, with Andy Oakley in second, and John Bailiff classified in third position. Then we went on to Heat 2, which was Aaron Smith's to take the win ahead of Toby Ward and Riley Sheringham. Unfortunately, an early spin for Niall Crowther meant that he did not score any points in that one. Then we moved on to Heat 3, and it was Brian Crowles that took the race win there from Martin Kenyon in second. Third place going the way of Kyle Jackalette. Alex Johns just missing out on that point. Then we got to the D main, which was then the first opportunity for drivers to go through into the feature, and it was Jake Cranstone and John Bailiff that did an almighty job and got both of the Rapid Rocking Rebel Rascals Round and Round World Racing Team cars into the feature. Simon Price got a championship point. Andy Oakley had an almighty roll and missed out on his chance to score an important championship point when he's right in the fight with the others. Toby Ward then won his heat ahead of Niall Crowther in the C main, who held on ahead of Aaron Smith. So no Aaron Smith in the feature, which is a big, big surprise. That's why this format's so exciting. Riley Sheringham finishing next up in fourth after his incident. And then the race we just watched. Martin Kenyon taking a great win, holding off Brian Crowles until the end. Kyle Jackalette nearly came under pressure from Alex Johns, but Alex, unfortunately, having a spin towards the end of the race, lost his position. So the guys are just in a bit of a warm-up at the moment, everybody. They're just doing their laps to get prepared for this feature. I'm just going to have a quick break for just a second. I'm just going to very quickly get a drink, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so here we go then. When I said it was 3 minutes, what I meant to say is it was 2 minutes for the warm-up. I do apologise, everybody. So, into the feature for round 7 of the CDM Speedway Superleague. It's going to be Brian Crowles on pole position. We wait for Niall Crowther to join the grid. He's just next to him there. Then it's John Bailiff and Martin Kenyon next up. Then Toby Ward and Jake Cranstone to complete the field. Field gets underway then. Looking forward to seeing how the guys get on here in this. It's going to be a really, really exciting final, this one. There's a good mix of drivers in here that we haven't had in features all the time, but the absence of Aaron Smith here is a great opportunity for Jake Cranstone, but he finds himself right at the back of the grid, and with 6 cars in the race instead of 4, well, there's all sorts of opportunities, but also risk here with more cars out on the track. We've seen a few incidents and a bit of chaos in some of these feature races before. There's no reason for that not to happen again, but that's part of Legends Racing, and the guys have always been really respectful and really kind with each other. And I thank them for their continued participation. Let's round up round 7, shall we? It's Brian Crowles on pole, and we get underway at USA International. Niall Crowther tries to defend the right-hand side from Martin Kenyon, who tries to sneak around, but Niall runs him up high. The pair of them have absolutely disappeared on that high line. But can they get the run on the exit? Yes, they can. Look at them go. Nowhere near the wall even on the exit. Niall gets a bit of a bobble down the back straight, goes for the race lead on the outside of Brian Crowles. They're certainly making it work. Jake Cranstone's trying his usual send on the inside line, but I don't think he's making that quite work just yet. Kenyon has to tuck a little bit lower because Crowther is there. It's 3 wide in the middle. Kenyon sends it through the middle. That's very scary stuff. Nearly hits the back of John Bailiff. Nearly overdoes it as well. Has to straighten up. He's kissed the side of Niall's car. The two of them nearly tangling. John Bailiff finds himself in second place now, but this is perfect for Brian Crowles, who leads the way. He's not even on the screen at the moment, but everyone trying different lines here at USA International. They're all armed with experience from the first time we came here. Toby Ward goes from high to low. Niall Crowther's hit the wall and he's out of this one. Looks like Brian's going to hold that lead. And the two Rapid Rocking Rebels behind him. Well, I tell you what, Jake Cranstone's making the low line work there, but there's the difference on the exit, look. Bailiff just able to get away that extra bit. And Toby Ward holding on to 5th at the minute, but no points for either of these guys, although Kenyon throws it up the inside of Bailiff. That was hard charging stuff, that, by Martin Kenyon. That was close to the line, that one. John Bailiff won't be too pleased with that. He's going to try and send it back around the outside of Martin now and get that place back. Toby Ward's on his inside as well, but he's overdone it, has to get out of it. Bailiff's rapid down the back straight there. Look at that. He's going to return the favour here. Watch this. Throws it back up the inside and says, nope, it's your high line now. You've got to be the one to make the compromise. I'm going to slide up in front of you. And for the lead, Jake Cranstone's trying this. This is great racing. Absolutely awesome fun. But the final lap of round 7 comes down to this. It is Jake Cranstone trying everything he can to get ahead of Brian Crowles. Oh, Bailiff's in the wall. Bailiff's in the barrier and Kenyon's over as well. Kenyon's involved big time. Toby Ward's going to get a point out of this. And Jake Cranstone and Brian Crowles nearly tangle out the final corner. Brian's got a wiggle on the exit though, but he is just going to do it. Brian Crowles takes the win in round 7 of the championship from Jake Cranstone. And 3rd place going to Toby Ward. His first points from a feature race. Niall Crowther ended up finishing in 4th in that one. Just missing out. But wow. That was another very, very exciting feature race. We have some fireworks somewhere around the circuit. It'd be great if we could see those, wouldn't it? There they are, everybody. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Niall doing some donuts there in front of the fireworks as well. That'll definitely be getting saved on a replay. Well, let's have a look at the result from that final race of round 7 of the championship. Brian Crowles takes maximum points then from that one with 4 points in the feature. Jake Cranstone getting all important 2 points from the back of the grid when Aaron Smith did not feature in said feature. Toby Ward recovers into 3rd place while Crowther, Kenyon and Bailiff all have their own incidents during that one. But well done to Brian Crowles and well done to all the guys for putting on such an entertaining show. I absolutely loved that. Of course, though, it's that time of the night, everybody, where we will have to be right back. We're going to go on a quick break here on Chaz Draycott Media, and we're going to then get ready for round 8 of the CDM Speedway Superleague. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you.
4 French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. The 3 wide again, Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across, they're both in front of Milan and
But
Pouget.
before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy, you know, these are 5-ton machines, 1200 horsepower brake. Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been bumped and a drift to show off. Ben Gregory now, I love this. 10.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello again, everybody. Very, very quick break this time round. It's Chaz Draycott here, of course, for the Chaz Draycott Media Speedway Superleague from USA International Speedway. We're just about to get round 8 underway, but we're just checking that we've got everybody in at the moment. I think we're just one driver down at this minute, so we're just waiting for the final driver to join into the next session, and then we'll be all good to go. But wasn't that a fantastic round 8? Really hope you all enjoyed that one. Saw White Van Gaming in the chat saying it's a shame they all hold back and take it easy in the final. I sense a bit of sarcasm. That was very, very exciting, that one. Really enjoyed that. At the moment, though, it's looking very good in the championship. If your name is, I was going to say Aaron Smith, but for some reason the points sheet is not actually calculating all the way to the end of where it should be with the points, basically. So if you bear with me, we'll be able to get that to calculate the right points for everyone and see where they're at. Oh my goodness me. Well, as long as I've got my maths right, which is not very often, we're going to actually confirm this, that as of right now, this man, Aaron Smith, leads the championship still with 44 points. However, Jake Cranstone also has 44 points, and so does Brian Crowles. It's a three-way tie for the championship lead at the moment. 8 points clear of Andy Oakley, and then he is 7 points clear of John Bailiff, who has 2 points on Pete Harrod and 3 points on Martin Kenyon. It is still the Rapid Rocking Rebels Rascals racing team, Round and Round World racing team, that are the top of the pile when it comes to the teams championship. Spontex CDM Esports on 35 points and Virtual Reality Autosports on 34. So only 1 point between those two teams as Aaron Smith gives the wall a bit of a ride there. We'll cut away from that very quickly. But so long as we have all 12 drivers in, which I don't think we do, unfortunately. Just going to message Brian, because Brian is basically the sort of race director as such, let's say. Brian is the one that advances the sessions and gets all of the drivers to have just the single pace laps. He sets that all for us. We're just waiting for one more driver. I'm just trying to figure out who it is. I think it's Alex Johns, who hasn't joined in yet. Brian has said he was pinching his cheeks at the end of that one. And it's hardly surprising as well. Because that was definitely a race where he would have needed to defend right to the end. I'm told that the session will advance in just a sec, and we'll be all good to get qualifying here from round 8 of the championship. I'm really excited to see how this one pans out, because like I say, the guys are now tied for the championship lead. I'm going to let them know that in Discord as well. Session is finishing, I can tell you. And it goes all of a sudden quiet around the circuit. And we'll wait now to see who comes out on circuit first. Oh, didn't quite catch it. There was a number of them all showed up at the same time. We'll show Andy Oakley. Andy had an unfortunate incident during the previous round and rolled and rolled and rolled. We'll give him the airtime this time round in qualifying, so we can see how he gets on. Love these things screaming away down the back straight. To be fair, everywhere they scream. It's just great, isn't it? Much bigger circuit here at USA International, though. It's a very different kettle of fish to Lima Land and Lania that we've been to before. We hope to obviously get more dirt ovals that we can use, and maybe use a payware circuit as well, because all of the content we use in this championship is free. That's one of the main appeals of it, really. It's a lot of fun. It's quick fire racing. Everyone has a good laugh. And it's Aaron Smith that's laughing all the way to the bank at the moment. He's fastest over Crowles, and then Ward. Toby Ward is in car 6 this time. He doesn't have a fixed number in the championship for some reason at the moment. So I apologise to Toby for that one. I did tell him that I was going to get that fixed for this. He should be number 66. So considering that he's number 6, I'm sure he won't mind too much. Third fastest though, Bailiff goes 4th. Andy Oakley goes 2nd quickest. And Jake Cranstone yet again goes to the top. 43 thousandths of a second ahead of Smith, who's 1,000th ahead of Oakley. Mighty close. There's a bit of a drift between Kenyon and then Sheringham actually in the middle of this lot. There's about, well, nearly 3/10 of a second back to Riley Sheringham from Martin Kenyon. Then it's Jackalette, Crowther, Price and Johns. Bailiff doesn't improve on his previous time. I think Kenyon may do. Yes, Martin Kenyon goes 2nd fastest. Great time that by Martin. He's really found some pace. That is a lovely time. And 2nd quickest in qualifying. I'm sure will go down well as Aaron Smith just displaces him there. 16 thousandths between the top 2. Less than a 10th between the top 4. Just gets closer and closer all the time. Think everybody's done. No, Jake Cranstone, one more time to do. Is he going to destroy the morale and go even quicker? No, he's not. It's a 26.350. He's about a 10th of a second off his best with that final attempt. But that was very, very close. But Cranstone does it again. And he will start on pole position for the first heat here in round 8. And again, he's going to give us some donuts, is he? Oh no, it's just a stylish pit entry is what it is. And then, yeah, he's going to disappear the car back to the pits. Aaron Smith is still circulating. Not quite sure how many laps he's done, but every time he crosses the line, it then reverts back to saying he's just done 3 laps. I think Aaron's getting his money's worth out of this session. And the number 70 car, Ever Rapid. But like I say, 16 thousandths of a second is so close. That's quicker than a blink, I'm pretty sure. Oh, now that's a stylish pit entry by Aaron. Nearly nails it into the water barrel on the right-hand side. But he does a good one there, doesn't he? Bless him. Aaron, the only American driver in the series. We have the Belgian, Brian Crowles. But all the other drivers in the series are all British. Aaron making this car not sound so phenomenal as it sort of rumbles its way down the pit lane. Most Legends are usually 1350cc Yamaha motorbike engines. I'm not quite sure what the American specification ones are, but I imagine they are either very similar engines or those exact engines. So let's see then, everybody, what we have in this first heat of the night. It's going to be Jake Cranstone, Andy Oakley alongside him, John Bailiff, so he's got his teammate with him again, and then Niall Crowther. Actually, we'll keep the timing tower up there because you can see it's basically 1st, 4th, 7th, and then 10th, and then it'll be 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th. So that puts Riley Sheringham, Simon Price, Brian Crowles, and Aaron Smith in the same heat. And then the third heat will be Martin Kenyon on pole position, Toby Ward, Carl Jackalette, and Alex Johns. Just 10 seconds left now before the session comes to a close. White Van Gaming in the chat saying, wow, a concrete pit lane this week. Fancy. I know, look at the facilities here. Red Bull Ring, eat your heart out. USA International has you covered. So, another little reiteration of the fact that this series is always developing and it's always changing. We have a much shorter warm-up for this week, just the 2 minutes, as I thought for some reason. It was 3 minutes earlier on. But in future, I think the qualifying sessions will be a little bit shorter as well, maybe 3 minutes instead of 5. So we can go even quicker through these race nights. Andy Oakley will be hoping to avoid the walls here. He had a big incident in that last one. He was definitely pushing to try and chase down Jake Cranstone and John Bailiff, who had an awesome battle. And we wait for the former to take to the grid here. Niall Crowther there on the outside from the back. He had a really great battle with Aaron Smith, got himself into the feature as, again, those two decide to, yeah, when a mummy legend and a daddy legend love each other very much. They're just having fun with it, bless them. That's what it's all about. This is what I mean. They'll be having a good laugh about that in Discord. A lot of the drivers, I mean, we've got 12 drivers. 8 of them are all in the same voice chat at the moment while racing, and they stay in there all evening, and they have a really good time of it together. And that's what happens through a lot of the leagues that I run as well, and the championships. You know, there's such an awesome community that the drivers do sit together in Discord and have a chat while they are racing, and it helps choreograph the race as well. If someone's running it wide, they can warn the other drivers and say, whoa, I'm going up wide, and you know, they can jump out of the way and preempt it. Or if they miss a braking point, you know, people can try and get out of the way. It's lovely, and they get the chance to apologise to each other in chat. You get the whole context of the situation as a driver, and it really makes life easier. So then, round 8 of the CDM Speedway Super League is about to get underway with the first heat from USA International, and it's Jake Cranstone that stamps on the loud pedal, and his teammate John goes with him. But Andy Oakley gets a lovely start and sticks with the pair of them. John Bailiff's on that inside line, though. Can he make that work for him? Niall Crowther using the higher line. There's a lot more grip in the middle of the road this time, though. The circuit gets sort of prepped between rounds. And look at Oakley there using the higher line. He's going to want to bring it a little bit further down than that. Jake Cranstone has been mastering just clipping that grass in the inside line all night, as Bailiff now has a bit of a tank slapper. He doesn't quite get the run he would have wanted. Niall Crowther's got a run on him coming into turns 1 and 2. The field is so close together. And this is the thing, in the second sort of round of the night, we always get a bit closer with the racing because of the fact that they have brand new, fresh experience of the circuit as it is. Jake Cranstone continues to lead, though. And he's on his way for another 3 points. Don't forget, it's him, Aaron Smith and Brian Crowles that are tied for the championship lead going into this, all on 44 points. It's as close as you like, just like Niall Crowther is to the back of John Bailiff. He's really closing in. Just trying to avoid that wall, just scrapes it with the bumper bar. Not sure Andy Oakley can do enough here to get with Jake Cranstone. He's 0.2 of a second quicker. He's showing some amazing dominance. Still doesn't have a feature race win this season, does Jake? But he's won so many heats. I think he won both of his heats last time as well, yeah. Nearly maximum points from round 7, just didn't get that feature race victory. So he's got 9 heat wins. This is going to be his 10th. It looks very tidy indeed, doesn't it? Checkered flag comes out. Jake Cranstone round the final corner, and he takes the first heat of the night in round 8 of the championship. Andy Oakley with more solid points in second place, and John Bailiff gaining the third point, or the third position I should say, of the lot. That means now that Jake Cranstone has won every heat that he's been in tonight, and he's only finished second to Brian Crowles, who will be in this race. We've got Riley Sheringham and Simon Price on the second row of the grid. Aaron Smith starting on the inside of the front row. So this is going to be mighty interesting, because Jake Cranstone has just scored 3 points. Puts him on 47 in the championship. But both of these guys cannot possibly score 3 points in this one. As, Simon Price has seemingly dropped out for some reason. Not quite sure what's gone on there. He's also just typing in the Discord server as well, I can see. So hopefully nothing too bad. Maybe the Sims crashed or something, I'm not quite sure. Oh, he said that his gear shifter's given up the ghost. So I'm not quite sure whether he's going to be able to sort that and get back in. Real shame that for Simon Price. He was in the real star-studded lineup heat here, with these two on the front row especially. It's unreal. But like I say, both of them on 44 points in the championship. We're going to have to keep our eye on these points as we go into the second half of the season. And it's Aaron Smith in heat number 2 in round 8 of the championship that gets us underway at USA International. Riley Sheringham has an opportunity here to get some free points out of this. He just needs to keep it tidy. Brian trying the outside line. Can't quite get it done on Aaron yet. But look, it's a bit of a wiggle on the exit from the yellow vision machine. Brian's trying and trying and trying. He's got to be so smooth on that outside line, not let the angle get too much. Aaron has a bit of a wiggle as he comes up high, but this is so close now. Like I say, there's only going to be 1 point between them in the championship. Regardless of how this finishes, we just need to know which one of them is going to have more points. One of them will be tied with Jake Cranstone. So long as they win this race, you never know, they could come together and Riley Sheringham take the win. That would, I think, be Riley's first heat victory of the season, as Brian gets a real angle on there near the wall on the inside line. as they head on to lap 3. It's certainly looking like a clean run, this one, for Aaron Smith. Once he gets to the front, he's managed to keep his head completely switched on. He's actually extended a gap slightly over Brian. These two have raced loads on the ovals before in the Vertex Stock Car Cup, which I used to broadcast and commentate on. It was a joy to do that. Brian's actually got a bit of a run on him here as we come onto the final lap. I'd argue that Aaron got a bit of a worse exit out the final corner. You can see he's hit that bump there. He takes a much sharper angle, but it spits him out a little bit better on the back straight. Can Brian keep within touching distance and try a move? I don't think he's going to have it in him here. So hard to get an advantage on this circuit. You know, everyone's so evenly matched as Aaron hits a bit of a rut. But I tell you what, his performances in general haven't. Aaron Smith takes 3 points. Ryan Crowles takes the 2. And Riley Sheringham gets a single point with the absence of Simon Price in that one. That means that now there is a tie for the championship lead between Jake Cranstone and Aaron Smith, with Brian Crowles just 1 point behind them. Amazing stuff. Simon reckons he's good to go now for the next race, which is great. Good news, at least we'll get him back on the grid. Martin Kenyon doing a bit of a burnout. He'll be still buzzing from that performance in qualifying. 3rd fastest for the number 3 machine out of everybody in the field tonight. Toby Ward finds himself on the outside of the front row, and then Carl Jackalett and Alex Johns. These two are almost inseparable when it comes to the heat races. Numbers 42 and 84. And to be fair, the inside lane numbers are exactly half of the outside lane numbers. You've got car 3, which is half of 6, of course, and then 42, half of 84 on the outside. Let's see whether that holds any significance when it comes to who gets the points from Heat 3 here in round 8 of the CDM Speedway Superleague. If you are interested in the championship, there is still time to join for the rest of the season. We just need 2 more drivers to get to 16 in the full roster, and that would mean that we get 4 sets of 4 heats, which would be epic to watch. Martin Kenyon leads us away. Well, I was going to say he does, but Toby Ward had his nose in front there. I'd argue Toby might get a penalty for that one. We'll have to see if his body language changes and he gives up the ghost, much like Simon Price's shifter did. Alex Johns and Carl Jackalett battling for that final point. Alex looks down the inside into 3 and 4. Goes for it. Big send down the inside, but Carl's going to get the cut back on him. Alex is going to go up high, and look at this. Toby Ward trying it down the inside. Oh, Carl's sideways, though. Alex Johns is going to try and take that extra point, and he gets the run down the start-finish straight. Martin Kenyon's having to defend here. He's got Toby all over the back of him. Martin's using a bit of a tighter angle through turns 1 and 2. He's up high near the wall. Has to correct slightly. Still did a faster lap than Toby on that last lap, though. Let's see what they do here. Look, initially Martin's angle is a lot tighter, and Toby sort of winds it on gradually around the corner, clips the grass on the inside. Martin's up high near the wall. Look at this, Alex Johns trying to defend now from Carl Jackalett as well in the neon green Photo Media UK livery. 1 lap to go after this, and Kenyon, well, he's certainly on a mission at this point. Not even sure Martin's got. He's got 2 heat wins actually to his name this season. This would make it 3 heats for car 3. It's well spread out, this field, though. I say spread out as in, I mean, it's equally spread out. They're not that far apart. One little moment or slide could cause an issue for them here. Alex Johns is on for a championship point if he keeps this one tidy. It's going well here with Carl Jackalett losing out slightly in turns 1 and 2 from behind him. I tell you what, Martin Kenyon, well, he won the last heat that he raced in round 7. And he's going to win another one here as he comes around the final corner. He beats Toby Ward to it. Great job by him. Toby Ward 2nd place. Alex Johns finishes in 3rd and gets a championship point. And everybody crashes at the flag. Great entertainment, boys. Great entertainment. So, the first consolation race here in round 8 of the championship sees Niall Crowther on pole position for Spontex CDM Esports. He's going to have John Bailiff pop up next to him. Then Andy Oakley, all in order, with Jake Cranstone behind him. Love that, boys. Do that again. So right now, like I've said, Jake Cranstone leading the championship, but tied with Aaron Smith. So he needs to try and get all of his points here. The rapid rocking reprobates are going to do their thing on the outside line. Pete Harrod and Martin Kenyon are now tied on 27 points each. Niall Crowther is also tied with Michael Jones, so if he can finish third in this race, then he will get that individual point and move ahead of Michael Jones, who of course isn't here tonight, so Niall will be pleased to move up a position in the championship. But he's against a very strong lineup here. John Bailiff, Jake Cranstone and Andy Oakley. Any one of these guys could win this race, you know. This is not one that would be easily figured out on paper. But Niall's the one that's going to determine when they go. He's going to hold the pace once the pace truck goes in. And the lights come on and the D-main in round 8 gets underway. And it's a very equal start by them all. Jake Cranstone opens up the line into turn 1 though. Throws himself up high. No, Niall's chucked it in too hard. There's contact already. And John Bailiff has found himself at the front. Jake Cranstone is all over the back of Andy Oakley, but he had to get out of it and try not to kiss the back of the number 53 machine. Oh, Niall will be kicking himself for that one. Don't forget as well, the top 2 in this go through into the feature and have more chance to score points. Bailiff's season has turned around big time. He's 5th in the championship now, ahead of Harrod and Kenyon. John Bailiff's having a whale of a time. Jake Cranstone was the quickest earlier on in qualifying. He has the pace to beat Andy Oakley on paper from what we've seen. And OK Google, play fortunate son indeed. Look at this low line by Jake. It's such a great strategy. All over the back of Andy Oakley now. Jake has got that low line absolutely slotted, hasn't he? Jake was 0.3 of a second quicker on that lap than Andy as well. It's definitely the rapid rocking Rebel Rascals Racing Round and Round World Racing Teams Championship to lose at this stage. Jake's just trying to find that gap, and he's got his nose down the inside of Andy now. Forces Andy to take the higher line. Oh, nearly. This is such a great fight by Jake. He's really committed to that low line. He's got Andy to go up a little bit higher. Andy doesn't want to give him the room, though. He's giving him only the minimal room. He's making Jake do all the hard work here in keeping the car down low. And I'd argue that that 78 machine's going to get this done here, you know. It's a solid defence by Andy, but I think Jake's got it done. What about John Bailiff in front? Well, Bailiff has absolutely run off with this one. John Bailiff takes a heat victory. Jake Cranstone with a great drive to second. Third place going the way of Andy Oakley, and Niall Crowther, like I say, will be kicking himself with that one. I think he tried to blow the engine up at the end there. That is such a shame for Niall. Pole position, and in the very first corner, it went downhill. Now Simon Price is back with us, which is good to see. Or is he? Or is he? As he's jumped in, you could see him wiggle the wheel there. He did that in the earlier heat. I'm not quite sure if we're going to get Simon Price back in for this one. And no, the race gets underway without him. That's a massive shame, that, for Simon. He was starting in pole position for this heat. That now means that Riley Sheringham is the one that determines who goes, and the guy behind them, sorry, the guys behind him are Brian Crowles and Aaron Smith. These two second and third in the championship. Cranstone now on 49 points after finishing second there. So let's put it this way. If Smith wins this race, he takes the championship lead by 1 point. If Crowles wins it with Aaron second, they'll all be tied on 49 points. It's just so close this season, every single race. And the top 2 out of this 3, of this trio here, will go through into the feature for round 8. And we've still got another race yet to go. So Riley Sheringham starting from the front. Gets underway. Aaron Smith's going to have to go for the high line here. Brian Crowles is going to be confined to the low line. Oh, Riley goes in well hot into turns 1 and 2. Brian gets caught out by it. And that's surely already settled it. Aaron Smith around the outside, straight into the lead. And now Brian Crowles is going to try and stretch his legs here. Try and get by Riley. Riley's car suddenly grips up mid-corner. He's trying to copy Aaron's line there by the look of it and just use what momentum Aaron has to sort of follow. Brian Crowles gets his nose down the inside. Nicely tucked in. Very tidy stuff from the Belgian, but look at that. Riley round the outside now, holding great pace. Tucks the car in, gets the run on the back straight as well. He's not letting Brian have this one easy. Is he going to cut down to the low line? No. Gives Brian the space. Aaron's running a bit of a higher line there, but Brian, out of shape on the exit. Riley still coming back at him here. But Aaron had a bit of a blip in and out there for just a sec. Here's Riley Sheringham on the inside line. Car gets way oversteery on the way into the corner, and there is Brian, nearly a kiss on the exit, but I'd say Crowles has got this one now. He did the fastest lap of the race last time round. Can he do enough about Aaron Smith? He'd need to be nearly 7/10 of a second, or 7/10 of a second quicker than him on this final lap, and I don't think we're going to see that much difference because Aaron, well, he's a demon, isn't he? He's rapid. Riley's putting in a great stint here in this one. Really sending the fight to Brian Crowles. It'll be worth the championship point that he's going to get for this. Oh no, I had to say it. Riley kisses the wall on the outside. But Aaron Smith is going to take the championship lead with this one. That's not what Jake Cranstone wanted to see. Aaron Smith leads the championship by just 1 point over Jake Cranstone. Brian Crowles finishing that one in second with Riley Sheringham third. Means that Brian is now 2 points off the championship lead. It's Aaron Smith on 50, Jake Cranstone 49, Brian Crowles on 48. Riley Sheringham now has 12 points, overtakes Alex Johns and Toby Ward in the championship. Both drivers are in this race. Alex Johns on the outside of the front row, Toby Ward on row 2. Carl Jacquelette's going to be starting on pole position here on that inside line. And let's not forget that this is the race that sends drivers through into the feature for round 8. Who's your money on, everybody? Let us know. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Certainly been another solid night of racing here, hasn't it? We've got 2 more race meetings still to go in the championship after this. A lot of points still on offer. And here we go, Jacquelette from the front. Oh, doesn't react as quickly as Alex Johns there. But as soon as the lights go, Alex Johns is swept around the outside, and into the lead goes the 84 machine. Jacquelette gets way sideways in turns 1 and 2. Toby Ward gets caught out by that. And both of the outside line drivers have gone. Martin Kenyon swooping to the inside now in the virtual reality autosports car, straight from the back of the grid, straight to the front. What a great start that is by Martin. Carl Jacquelette trying that low line. Doesn't work for him. Martin's had a bit of a moment of his own actually there. And look at this, Alex Johns coming back at him. Sends it back up the inside. Can he get it stopped and keep it down low? Oh, he takes a wide line, and Toby Ward's now trying to go around the outside of Jacquelette. The 2 green cars at the rear end of the field. Toby puts himself in a point-scoring position, and Kenyon has got a great run down the back straight that time. This would be an awesome night for Martin Kenyon because he's finished second and first. Oh no, there's a spin behind it. Jacquelette takes the advantage. Goes through. Alex Johns just over-rotates on that grass on the inside, I think. What can Toby Ward do now about trying to catch back up and get an extra championship point? I was going to say Martin Kenyon in round 7 scored 5 points. He scored 3 so far in round 8. He's going to make this 6 now. The most you can get out of an entire night, or an entire round I should say, is 10. 2 heat wins, 3 apiece, and then a feature win is 4 points. So if you can get those 6 on the board, Martin Kenyon's going to start a very, very good night. Toby Ward still third. Carl Jacquelette running second. I think this will be Carl's best result of the season. Yeah, he's not finished second in a heat so far this season. But what can you say about Martin Kenyon here at USA International? What a great night he's having. Car 3 takes his 3rd heat win of the entire evening. Carl Jacquelette finishes second with Toby Ward in third. Alex Johns, though, unfortunately missing out after that spin. That's such a shame. But another great race to add to our list of races this evening. Now we've only got a 2-minute warm-up here, so we'll be quick and go over the results of the races. Jake Cranstone took the first heat win of the night over Andy Oakley and John Bailiff. This is more sort of for my validation as well, to make sure that the results actually match the points that I've written down. Next up was Aaron Smith taking the win over Brian Crowles and Riley Sheringham. That's what gave Aaron Smith the potential to take the championship lead. Third heat of the night went to Martin Kenyon, a great win for Martin. He was then ahead of Toby Ward, and Alex Johns got a championship point on the board, with Jacqueline falling down into 4th place. We then moved on to the consolation races, where John Bailiff took the win over his teammate Jake Cranstone. That meant that Jake had an extra point to try and find from somewhere in the rest of the championship, with Andy Oakley in 3rd, Niall Crowler unfortunately having that spin. But once again, it's the 2 Rapid Rocking Rebel Rascals Racing Round and Round World Racing Team cars that go into the feature. Next up was Aaron Smith taking a win with Brian Crowles. Both of those 2 go through. Riley Sheringham gets a championship point but does not progress to the feature, while Simon Price has technical issues that keeps him out of the race. And then Martin Kenyon, as we just saw there, taking another race victory. Carl Jacqueline in 2nd gets himself into a feature, with Toby Ward and Alex Johns just missing out. So Aaron Smith then comes into this feature with the championship lead. He's got 1 point over Cranstone, 2 points over Crowles. What can he do about extending that championship lead ever further? Because 1 point is definitely not a lot. We've seen how easily you can lose just 1 point. Jake Cranstone losing out to his teammate has shown us just how that works. But John Bailiff's been on a charge tonight as well, actually. Looking at his points, he scored 3 points actually in round 7. He scored 4 points so far in round 8. So I'm excited to see what he does with this feature race to complete our evening. Let's shut the music up, shall we? Because it's now business time in round 8 of the championship. Hope you're as all excited as I am for this one. Let's see what they've got then. It's Brian Crowles on the front row here. Great opportunity for Brian to take the championship lead. Don't forget, you get 4 points for winning these features, then 2 points for 2nd and 1 for 3rd. So that win is worth double what any other potential possible advantage in this championship is. Carl Jacqueline, though, is the one that starts from the very front. Martin Kenyon with Jake Cranstone in the middle, and John Bailiff just behind. This is a very high-quality field in this final race of tonight. Thank you for those of you that have been watching once again. Love the support from you all here on Chaz Draycott Media. I am massively grateful for each of you that watch racing, week in, week out, watch all the racing, and of course the guys that jump in to race and actually participate in this championship as well. There's such a great group. And even if you do want to jump in for the last couple of race meetings, please do jump in, because if we get 2 extra cars, we would then have 16 signed up and on the grid, and it would mean we have 4 heats of 4, or 8 heats of 4, that then set us up for a 4-car feature. Here we go then. Round 8 of the championship is going to come down to this. Carl Jacqueline on pole position. The lights come on and we're underway, and Brian Crowles has got a demon getaway. That's perfect for him. He knows how to make the high line work as well, so he's definitely in with a shout already. Look at that. He's going to swoop across the front. And what about the guys behind? Kenyon makes it 3 wide around the outside. Jacqueline has to stay in the middle. Cranstone's there. There's nearly a pinch. Cranstone's on that inside line. They've got to be so careful here going into 3 and 4. Cranstone, especially with championship points implications on his mind. Bailiff is there below Carl Jacqueline, trying to get a cutback on him. Kenyon goes up into 3rd. Aaron Smith goes up into 4th, past Jacqueline. Crowles leads the way though, and he's going to be right in it at the minute. He's going to take 50 points total. Aaron Smith isn't going to score any points from where he currently is. And Jake Cranstone getting 2 would actually take the championship lead here, because that would put him on 51. I hope that makes sense to you lot that can't see this spreadsheet. Cranstone, well, putting his nose right down the inside of Brian Crowles. Wow, that's brave stuff from the young Brit. Really throwing everything at it here. He's proving to Brian that he's not here to muck about. And look at that, back down the inside, puts his nose right on that left rear arch of Brian. They're together, and Jake Cranstone is around. Into Kenyon, into Smith. Jacqueline and Bailiff go through. Oh, goodness me, it all comes to a head again in a feature. And Cranstone put his nose down the inside. He clipped that rut on the grass, went backwards, and Smith is now out of a point-scoring position. Bailiff is up there in 2nd. Carl Jacqueline could even get a point here out of a feature. All Aaron Smith needs to do is play it safe here and try and hold on to what advantage he can, because even if... Oh, I can't even put into words. Kenyon in the pits with massive damage, and Brian Crowles round the final corner then to start the last lap of the race. Can't even get my words out. A simple mistake by Jake Cranstone. Spins the car around in front of the field. Kenyon's taking his fast repair and jump back out on circuit. Bailiff holds second. Jackalette third. Aaron Smith not close enough to take fourth with damage on the front of the car. And that means, everybody, that Brian Crowles is going to take the championship lead with this one. Crowles takes the win in round 8 of the championship. Bailiff is second and Jackalette is third. Great result that for Carl Jackalette. Wow, though. Wow, that was dramatic. Let's have a quick look at exactly what happened. This is Jake going down the inside of Brian Crowles. You can see he really tucks the car in because he knows Brian's going to come down there. Oh, I think there is contact, you know. And then Martin is the one that gets the big hit there. And then Aaron Smith goes into him. Let's go on board with Martin and see what this looks like. He was sitting so well in third place, but he's been really unlucky this season with wrong place, wrong time. He's very sideways, actually. Oh, it's the tiniest of touches, and then bang. Massive, massive hit. It's such a shame that it went that way. But Brian Crowles will be over the moon. You've got a little celebration area down there at this circuit as well. And Brian Crowles takes the win in round 8 of the championship here in the CDM Speedway Superleague. Let's have a look at the race result then while Brian continues to ruin the circuit. Brian takes the win. John Bailiff in second, gets 2 points in car 22. A great resurgence from John, actually, in the championship. And Carl Jackalette gets his first points in a feature race in the CDM Speedway Superleague. One of our reserve drivers as well is Carl Jackalette, so he's jumped straight in and cracked on with the job at hand. Aaron Smith will be ruining that one. The incident in front of him, nothing really to do with him until it all suddenly bounced off the wall in front of him. Jake Cranston and Martin Kenyon also surprise drivers to not have scoring points in that last race of the evening. So let's see who we can have for a chat, shall we? We'll see if there's anybody that we can jump in and speak to. We'll get them back to the formation lap on the replay, and we'll have a word. Well, first off, with the man that won round 8 of the championship. So, Brian, you must be over the moon with that one, mate. Not the way you'd wanted to win it, I'm sure, with the contact going on, but it's part and parcel, I should say, of the racing of these sorts of things, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually, as we speak, looking at what happened. I'm trying to see if there's anything that's like, I feel like it's like a racing incident. I mean, I was going to his line, to my line. He was, shoving it in, which is his duty, I guess, to win it. But luckily, we didn't both crash out. It's the way it goes sometimes, but it's definitely not the way, like you said. But.
And what did you think of USA International tonight? Because, as I've been saying most of the evening, it's a very different circuit to the other ones we've been to recently. It's got its own knack to it, hasn't it, this place?
Yeah, it's like kind of the first time that we raced here. It just works for me. The little longer corners, you got to keep a little bit more of that momentum in because you're going, close to the top speed of these things. I feel like it's got a lot more flow in it than the shorter tracks. So yeah. Whatever concerns me, I'm fine with this track.
I was going to say, I thought you might be. Championship lead coming away from this, but bearing in mind, before you went into round 8, you, Aaron, and Jake were all tied on points. It's mighty close between you three, and it changes very quickly, doesn't it?
Really? We were tied on points?
Yeah, all on 44 points coming into round 8.
Wow. Yeah, this is a really close championship. I can't wait to see what the next rounds bring.
Definitely. Well, we're obviously going back to Lania and Limaland for the next 2 meetings. Are there either of those that you sort of prefer out of the two, or one that you want to get out of the way first?
Both. Can we just do this one for another 2 times?
No. We're going to the Nordschleifer instead.
Yes, please.
But it's been great fun to see it, though, Brian, and obviously well done on the result, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, same ones as always. You for putting this on. It's been so much fun, this little series. I hope we can continue doing this. And then, the teammates that have been cheering me through the race behind the scenes here today, Ivan and Jason. So it's been a good one. Let's go on to the next one.
Absolutely, Brian. Always a pleasure, mate. Thanks for jumping in, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good evening. Goodbye.
There is your championship leader, Brian Crowles, everybody. Always good to speak to him. And another driver that's always good to speak to, but obviously commiserations will be handed out first to Jake Cranstone. Jake, not how you wanted your night to end, but you had to go for it. And, I mean, you were making that low line work so well all night.
I found something in the 5 minutes of practice that I managed. I was, it was very slick, and I saw the inside wasn't, so I was like, well, I'll just try that bit. And it seemed to work pretty well for me the whole night. I don't know, nobody seemed to catch on to it, which was good. And yeah, always the frustration for me is just I haven't won a round yet.
Yes, you've not won a feature yet, have you? But you're still up there.
Yes. So I was like, I'm not letting Brian just run away with this one again. So I had to try something. I feel like I was there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's, I mean, part and parcel, as I said to Brian before, these cars are always so close together, and the short wheelbase exaggerates contact, unfortunately, which is part of the frustration of these cars, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like I watched the replay, and then there was a squeeze, but then there was just a massive spike of netcode or something. I just went 360. It was really weird.
Well, hopefully better luck next time at Lania. I mean, it's a circuit we've already been to, so again, now we go back round on the same sort of tour. Do you think that with drivers being armed with the experience, it's going to be even closer?
I think it's going to be similar to this one, where everybody's like, oh, we've been here before, I sort of know what I'm doing, so they sort of keep pushing it a bit more, maybe like I did. And that's going to be continuing on, I think, maybe trying their luck a little bit too much.
Well, we'll certainly look forward to seeing how it all pans out, mate, either way. It's been great fun to watch again, Jake. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Ellen, Ali and Dave watching along. Thank you guys, I hope you're enjoying it.
Beautifully said. Well, great to speak to you, Jake, and thanks again for you and John for being so entertaining as well. The fun with the livery, the team name, all of it, even the little bump in before the race gets underway. We absolutely love watching it, mate. So thank you for being a part of it so far, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Alright, thank you. Cheers.
Jake Cranstone there, always up for a good laugh, and like I say, getting some points out of the majority of the evening, just not quite going his way at the end. It did go somebody's way at the end, though. With the incident around him, Carl Jacquelet managed to avoid that and get through and get some points. Carl, it's been a long time since I've had you in an interview waiting room, my friend. First off, how have you been? How are you finding the series?
I've been absolutely great. Thoroughly enjoying my life at the moment. And I've been really enjoying this. Been playing dodgems tonight, I think. I've missed all the accidents in front of me and lucked my way through.
Well, it worked out, and I mean, a great result, especially in a feature race at the end of the night as well. What was the sort of main characteristic of the circuit you found tonight? Because it's very different to last time you were with us, isn't it?
Oh, very different. I did notice the high line was starting to come in right at the end, getting a bit more grip, and the car wasn't jumping around biting so much. It wasn't losing speed. It was much more consistent. So in a long race the high line would have really come in, but in these short ones it makes it a bit more challenging.
Well, it's always great fun to watch, and that's the thing, everyone thinks that all ovals are all the same, but they're definitely not. It's a very different mixed bag.
They are very not. I did a NASCAR league the other night at Pocono.
Oh god, yeah.
In the next gens, and it was a 40-lap race, and we ran green the whole way.
Wow.
Which was,
I bet that was a riot.
Yeah, I'm really getting into oval racing.
Well, it certainly shows as well. You were a lot more consistent this evening, right up there on the pace, and hopefully we'll see more of the same at Lania next time. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick thanks to while we've got you in the booth?
Yeah, I'm going to give a quick thanks to yourself for laying on things like this. I've missed racing with you. I need to do some more.
Well, thank you very much, Carl. It's always a pleasure. It's great to have you back in the leagues and great to have you on my screens once again. So thank you for jumping in, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time round.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Cheers. Carl Jacquelet there. Like I say, it's been a long time since I've had Carl in one of my leagues. He used to race in the British Boring Car Championship for a while and was supremely entertaining there, getting points after points after points. Had an amazing resurgence in Season 2, if I remember rightly. What I'm going to do, though, everybody, is call it quits on the evening there, I'm afraid. It's all we've got time for here on Chaz Draycott Media. Another very dramatic night in the championship, but still, the top 3 in the standings only separated by 3 points. Brian Crowells leads it by 2 from Aaron Smith, who is 1 point ahead of Jake Cranstone. It's going to be mighty, mighty fine when we once again go back to Lania in a week's time and then complete the championship at Limaland in just 2 weeks. Thanks once again to those of you that have always been watching. It's fantastic to have you along for the ride, and we look forward to seeing you next time round here in the CDM Speedway Superleague. Good night, everyone.
4 French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. The 3 wide again, Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across, they're both in front of Milan and
But
Pouget.
before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy, you know, these are 5-ton machines, 1200 horsepower brake. Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, you can look, and a drift to show off. Ben Gregory now, I love this. 18.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.